Hello everyone, in this video I'm going to give you a full update on what to expect and a full update on tropical outlook, many graphs, analysis, and me talking my thoughts in drawing and everything you gotta know for the tropics, as well as a quick look at the severe outlook and the forecast for the Climate Prediction Center, so the forecast on like temperatures and precipitation for the mainland US. So yeah, let's get right into it. Sorry I haven't been posting. I was on vacation, but I am back and I am going to continue posting starting today. So yeah, let's get right into it. So right now, you might be wondering, why would I give a full tropical outlook if there's right here tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days? Now this is expected to change, and that's why I'm going to give you a full update on when that could change and even impacts possibly on the US. So yeah. So again, right now tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days for the Atlantic. Eastern Pacific, a much different story. Definitely some activity. 10%, 48 hours, 10% and for the next 7 days for this little disturbance too. So this probably won't develop, but we'll watch it. Disturbance 1 has 10% in the next 48 hours, 30% in the next 7 days. So this is probably the one to watch. And then, going to the Central Pacific. We have one other one, 10% in the next 48 hours and 10% in the next 7 days. So this probably won't really develop as well, but again, something to watch. Sorry about my voice. Now getting into my thoughts and tropical update. Now, this is mainly for the Atlantic, first of all, and real quick, going back to the National Hurricane Center. We've been having activity in the Eastern Pacific and Central Pacific more than the Atlantic for a reason, and I'll show you that reason coming up. But first, we're going to take a look at the sea surface temperatures. Now, the sea surface temperatures are not what's stopping tropical development, okay? We have very, very, very warm conditions, even in the Pacific as well. 28 Celsius, 30 Celsius, even higher. That's 80s, mid 80s, even upper 80s in some areas. So just very warm, very hot, almost historical conditions. And so that's definitely not what stopping tropical cyclones from forming. Okay, so just knowing that we have very hot, warm temperatures, and this is only going to get warmer as we continue. Now, this is one of the graphs that I have seen airing a lot on Twitter, a lot on social media, and it's a very good graph to go over. So, seeing these drier, so you have these two different like color shades. These drier conditions, which represent sinking air, and these wetter looking colors. So these greens are rising air, the oranges, yellow, dust type color is sinking air. So rising air, again, is the green, helps promote tropical cyclone development. It upwells water. It helps it's conducive for tropical cyclone development. However, sinking air is not conducive. It's the complete opposite. It almost destroys tropical cyclones. Overall, it doesn't destroy it, but it prevents development from tropical cyclones. So it's sinking air. It's not rising into the cyclone. It's sinking out of it. It's not conducive, okay? While rising air is conducive for development. So, for basic explanation, for tropical cyclone development, you want rising air and not sinking air, okay? So, we have rising air way out here in the Pacific, okay? You see some over here, you see some right over here, these greens, and that is why we're having so much more activity in the Pacific. While you look in the Atlantic, we have these drier looking colors, which is all sinking air. Okay, and this is the current analysis. This first little box, this is current. So what's happening right now? And again, drier conditions in the Atlantic are sinking air, less favorable, while more favorable in the Pacific. So this is going to go by 5-day increments. So you have this July 28th, this July 26th, this July 31st, August 5th. So 5 days, then 10th, then 15th, etc. So as we continue, you see this rising air migrating eastward into the Atlantic. As you can see, this is August 5th, and look at August 10th, as well as 15th and 20th, much more favorable conditions in the Atlantic, and this is that time frame that I really watch mid-August, even getting into late August. That's the hot spot. That's where we watch for tropical conditions, tropical cyclones. So we're really gonna watch that period. Now, going on, we still have it's a similar graph. It's just different models. This is the GFS global forecasting system. Uh, this again, you see drier in the Atlantic. However, we continue to see slightly more greener conditions. Now, these are also going by 5-day increments, but it doesn't go as far out. And then getting into the climate forecasting system, same real idea. You see this sinking air currently, and then you see this migration of more rising air getting into that Atlantic, and the sinking air staying more out west into the Pacific. Now getting on to the global tropics hazard outlook, which really tells you about the formation probability, rainfall probability, temperatures probability, etc. Now, current week 2, this is July 24th to July 30th. You see that we have more tropical cyclone probability in the Eastern Pacific, or EPAC, as well as above average rainfall probability. So again, this is in the Eastern Pacific. Now getting on to week 3, which is experimental, we get now we see tropical cyclone development possible in the Atlantic. This stretches from July 31st to August 6th. This is 20% chance of formation probability right around the Caribbean and MDR, main development region. So that tells you that conditions start to inch a little more favorable as we continue on. And then you look at the Eastern Pacific, and it also increases tropical cyclone formation probability as rising air migrates eastward. So that's your global tropics hazard outlook. And then getting into the tropical cyclone strike probability, or landfalls. Now, this is to be taken kind of with a grain of salt, okay? This is where I'm going to discuss like steering patterns and stuff. Right now, we don't have many tropical cyclone strike probability because we don't really have any big tropical cyclones currently. Now, this is this week. Getting into next week, you see it starts to increase, okay? You see a main track going kind of like, here, let me get a better color. You see a main track kind of going like, kind of going like this. You see a main track trying to sneak into the Gulf. Okay, this is next week, and then you go another week. Again, you see lots of track kind of going like this, and then even some development here, and even some development down here, just north of South America, and even in the Bay of Campeche. And then lastly, August 12th to 19th, our real hot spot. Now, the highest we're seeing is 20 to 30%, which may not seem high, but again, we're still kind of far out, and the confidence isn't that high yet. So just keep that in mind. And the main track I see is something like this, okay? You see a track from the MDR, then a recurve along the coasts of the Atlantic. So overall, if you're on the East Coast, if you're in the Gulf of Mexico, just watch out come mid-August, okay? It's gonna really ramp up in terms of tropical activity. Lastly, but I do want to quickly take a look at the severe outlook. But the overall here, one more quick thing. This is again representative of the steering current. So we have a ridge over here, Bermuda High. Sometimes we call it Bermuda High, whatnot. But overall, we have a ridge, a high pressure in the Atlantic. Sometimes it can go west or east. Sometimes it can go west. But given this tropical strike probability by the European ensembles, this does conduct steering currents such as this. So with these steering currents, you get a tropical cyclone picked up right here. As it develops, you get it picked up by these steering currents. And then that's where you can really start to see how this path really goes east, and then it starts curving up up along the east coast and north and whatnot. So overall, you see these steering currents really just pushing these cyclones east, and that's where, or west, and that's how we really need to know. That's how we really know that, okay, it's time to watch out for even areas of the Caribbean, East Coast. So just keep that in mind of the steering currents. Now getting into the severe outlook, nothing much honestly, just a marginal risk over here for the Carolinas and Virginia, just a marginal risk over here in western Arizona, small tornado risk and a wind threat, and no real hail threat for any of the areas. Day 2, just a general thunderstorm risk, so just expect some regular thunder storms. And then day 3, same thing, just general thunder, so no real severe weather. And then getting into the day 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, nothing really expected. Now lastly, Climate Prediction Center, just wanted to take a look. 6 to 10 day outlook. This is the temperatures and precipitation. Right now, here, I'll take a closer look right here at the temperatures. Much warmer conditions up north overall, normal conditions in the southeast and west, as well as some below average temperatures and above average temperatures for areas like Florida, for example. Now getting into the precipitation, just a real quick look. Below average for the northeast, while above average for much of the central U.S., southern U.S., and some near normal for the west in areas of the mid-Atlantic. Now, I'm not going to zoom in for the 8 to 14, but here I will. Much above average temperatures for the north, and some near normal below average temperatures for the south central U.S. And then precipitation, we see above for the east, below for the west. And then lastly, 3 to 4 weeks does get a little more uncertain, but you do see above average temperatures for the west, above for the east, and just a little bit of equal for the south central-ish U.S. And then lastly, precipitation, you see above for the east once again, and above or below for the west once again, and then some equal chances. So again, above for the southeast and below for the west. And real quick, why is it above for the kind of like this, like southeast? You see it kind of like this, because we do have that tropical cyclone possibility, right? Even the storm climate prediction center sees that, okay, you have above average for all of the east coast, and so that's where you, in the Gulf Coast, so that's where you really want to, that's where you can really inquire that, hey, a pickup in tropical cyclone activity is really possible as we get into mid-August. So there you have it. There's your update. Sorry, my voice is a little cracky. I don't know why. Just a little lost on my voice, but hope you enjoyed. Please share this with your friends. Please subscribe, and I'll be with you guys tomorrow. Have a great day.